Hey YouTubers, got another video review for you today. This one's from a company by the name of Pro Eagle. I'm about to show you a product, just got it in the mail. If you haven't guessed by now, this is the Pro Eagle jack. It's an off-road jack. This here is the instructions, and you can see that everything else is in the box, all nice and secured up. And the first thing that catches my eye is those big old monster truck wheels for a floor jack. All right, now this jack here is called the Beast, and for good reason. If you look right here at the axles, all the way around here, look at the size of those axles right there. Those are super heavy duty. I don't think you're going to have any problems with reliability with this thing, because it's not going to break. I mean, those axles are freaking huge. And you can see the front tires right in there. They're monstrous. They've got a nice bearing right here. It's nice and smooth. This is the back tire. So same thing goes with those. It's got a nice bearing on this side, nice bearing on that side, nice and smooth, and should roll really good. And so I don't think you're going to have any problems getting over some of the terrain that a normal jack would hold you back on. So, you know, that is definitely a plus. Now, this particular jack here is a 2-ton jack. So it has a 2-ton capacity. Plus, they have some other jacks. They've got some bigger ones if you need a bigger one. They got some smaller ones if you need a smaller one. But, you know, if you got an ATV or a big truck, it doesn't matter. They got you covered. So anyways, this particular jack here has an 8-inch extension, and what I mean by that is they give you a little extension here, and it's got a rubber pad on the top so it don't scratch up your frame or wherever you're jacking. But you know, it's got a little pin that sits in there, and you can allow for different height adjustments. And this just sits right down in here like this. And then once you get it down in there, then you turn it a little bit so it locks in place. That way, it's not going to tip over on you or anything. And then you just take and put your pin in there, and you're good to go. So now you've got a jack with a whole lot more lifting capabilities. You know, just seems like it's made really well. So whenever you get the jack, it comes with a little plastic bag with the hardware in it, and they give you 4 of these little snap rings here, and a little pair of these little mini snap ring pliers. So I thought that was really cool. I've never seen a set of minis like that. That'll just be something to add to my tool collection. So what you want to do is you just want to take and line the little pins up. If you're not familiar with a snap ring, it's got 2 little pegs on each side right there, and you just take this little clip, this little snap ring, and you stick the little pegs into the holes, and then when you squeeze the tool, it expands that little snap ring just enough to get it to fit over the little axle right there, and there's a little groove right in there. So you just put your wheel on, and then take the snap ring pliers and mash them down just a little bit to be able to get the snap ring opened up, and then the snap ring will just fit right into that little groove right in there. So now you don't have to worry about it, because your wheel's all nice and tight. There's nowhere for it to go. That snap ring's in that groove and held it in place. And you know, I'm going to show you again on this side, just in case you didn't get a chance to see that very well. Alright, so I'm going to show you again. You go ahead and take your snap ring and put it in the little pliers there, and then you put your wheel on. It just slides right on, so it's nothing hard at all. And then what you want to do is just expand that little snap ring, and then slide it over the axle. And then once you get it slid over, then make sure that snap ring's nice and in that groove right there. And now your wheel has nowhere to go. It can't really come off. Now when you get the jack, you're going to notice that the part where the handle fits in here is kind of locked in place, and the reason being is they've made this little piece of plastic to fit in here to keep it pushed down, so it's easier for them to ship the the jack flat rather than have this piece sticking up in the box or whatever. And so now you're on one step further to getting the handle put on and being able to use it. All right, so now that you've got that plastic piece removed, now you want to assemble the handles. And it's really, really simple. All you do is just take, and this side right here where it's stepped down and it's got the little push button right in here, you just take, it's got a hole on the other side, and you just slide it until it locks in place, and you see it's a push button. And I like that a whole lot better because a lot of them has just a little cheap bolt that runs through there. And if you want to store this thing, let's say you've got an off-road vehicle and you want to store it and you ain't got room for the handle, you could just pull it apart like that. And let's say you needed the handle for something else, you know, using it as a pry bar or something. The handle's nice and feels really thick, so I wouldn't have any problems using it for something else if I needed to, if I got in a bind. And right in here you can see it's got some nice padding on it, so you know when you're using the jack, you don't want it to hit the side of your vehicle or whatever. And so the way that you install the handle is right here on the bottom. It's got like a square cut out in it, kind of like a drive, like on a socket. It's cut out, and then there is a area down here in the hole that's basically got that little piece sticking up to fit into that drive. And then you just slide it down in here and line it up. Once it's lined up, then there's a little screw here on the back that you just turn clockwise to tighten it up, and that way your handle don't come out of your jack. But let's say you want to take the handle back out of your jack, you just loosen this up and it pulls right out. So that is really handy as well, because you know, like I said, you don't always want to have a bolt in there and you know, be somewhere where you don't have any tools to take that handle on and off and use it for something else, you know, if you got in a pinch. So that is pretty handy on that. Plus, I gotta say, the jack just looks pretty badass. So I don't know why all these companies have been putting these little puny little tires on these jacks for all these years, but you know, they need to take note. This is the way a jack should be, you know, unless you've got something, a vehicle that's lowered or something that you need, you know, low profile, then I see that. All right, so to get it all put together and everything, the last piece is this right here, and this is the part that holds the extension when it's not in use. And this is pretty handy, so you don't have to go looking for it. You know, it's not like it's going to be an extra piece where you have to go to the toolbox or search around the bed of your truck looking for it. It's all in one area, you know, so that is really handy. And so you can see there's a hole drilled right here, and then there's a hole on this side of the jack, and then there's another one on this side. So you can turn it this way or you can turn it this way. It really doesn't matter. But since I got the camera set up that way, then I guess that's the way I'm going to install it. So first things first, it comes with this this bolt here, and it uses a Allen wrench, you know, a little hex key. If you're not familiar with those, they're really inexpensive, but I'm sure if you've buying a jack of this caliber, you definitely know what an Allen wrench is. And then you take the nut and put it on and I went ahead and saved you guys some trouble, and went and found the correct wrench, and it's a number 14. So you just take your hex key and your 14 millimeter wrench and just tighten away. So now you can put your tools aside, and I showed you in the beginning of the video that there was an extension right in here, so you could raise the lifting height of the jack. Well, what you want to do now is just take and put the extension right down in here, and then voila. I will tell you that it is made of aluminum, and it is a hell of a lot lighter than any of the steel jacks. This thing only weighs 52 pounds. So you compare that to a heavy duty steel jack, and you'll be glad to pick this thing up. Plus, you know, it's got the big carrying handles on each side, and they're built really strong. They're not going to go anywhere. And so I really do like that. As far as the tires goes, you don't have to ever worry about a flat tire, because these things are made out of like a plastic composite material, and you don't have to worry about them going flat or breaking on you. So that is a plus. The jack does come with a 2-year warranty, so you know, make sure whenever you get the jack that you fill out all the warranty information and all that, just so you're covered. They do have several options for this jack. They offer a 15-inch adjustable extension that goes right in here, where this one here I believe is an 8-inch. So you know, if you've got a lifted up vehicle, then you can opt for that taller extension. Now they also make jack mounts. You know, if you're one of those off-road guys or whatever, you want to keep this mounted in the bed of your truck, they do make a mount where this will bolt down to. It looks really sharp. And one other thing that they offer is a jack hitch ball. And what that is they've got like a ball for a trailer that fits right here on this plate. You can jack the trailer up, then you'll be able to move it around. And since this thing has such big old tires on it, that you should be able to just pull the trailer easier and move it around. So that will come in definitely handy. So anyways, they also make a jack cover for it. So if you want to protect the outside of the jack and keep it looking nice and new, if you want to opt for that, you can. The height on this jack, it's 2 foot 2 inches, and that's with the 8-inch extension. So this thing is able to go really high, and I'm fixing to show you that here in a second. And before I forget, if you're one of those guys like me and you enjoy stickers, they also include a Pro Eagle sticker to stick on your ride. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and lift the jack up. It is a fast jack, so you know that is handy. And I will have to say that I noticed when I got the jack out of the box that it feels really sturdy, but it's also really lightweight. 54 pounds. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And then if you look here up underneath the jack, now I'll move the camera around, but if you look up underneath, you can see that there is a skid plate that runs right here all the way back. So that way, you know, if you are using it for off-road use or whatever, you don't get mud and sand and all that crap in the hydraulic ram right there, because you want to try to keep all that out and keep it nice and clean. I do have to say that up underneath the jack, everything looks solidly built. I mean, that's some really thick metal right in there. So I'm gonna walk you around just to give you an idea of what this thing looks like with it lifted up, and you can see the fit and finish on everything looks really nice. Wasn't all scratched up or anything. They did a good job at packaging it. I went and bought the little cheapy Harbor Freight one, and I've got it right here. But you know, if you try to drag this thing around, it'll wear you out. I mean, it's got to be close to 100 pounds. So the wheels, they're made out of steel, and it just does not roll very good at all. And like I said, you're rolling this thing around the shop, you know, you're going to get stuck on a zip tie or a little pebble or just the smallest little thing is going to jam this thing up. And you know, to try to compare these two is totally crazy, because they're two different jacks. So now, as far as maintenance on the jack, I'm not real sure. I looked on all over the jack, and I couldn't find any zerk fittings or grease fittings for it. But I noticed that it's got, you know, quite a bit of grease that runs right in here for that pivot point. And you know, most jacks have a zerk fitting, so maybe this one's sealed. I know, you know, since it's an off-road jack, that they probably want to try to keep some of that junk out of there. So, you know, that makes it even better. That's one less thing you have to do, and you don't have to worry about it. You know, like on the regular, just a standard jack, you know, most of them have like a zerk fitting right there, and I know on the monster jack that I have, didn't have it no time, and broke that fitting right off out of there. And you talk about a pain in the butt having to try to get it out of there and put a new zerk fitting in there. And so, you know, that is one improvement right there as far as I'm concerned. And I was telling you about the skid plate on this jack. Well, the skid plate comes up in the back as well, and they've got a Pro Eagle sticker on there. So I think that's cool, you know. And, you know, if you're trying to pull this thing through the yard, and, you know, if you didn't have that skid plate in there, you'd get a bunch of junk and stuff up in there. So imagine trying to do it in the mud or the sand. So if you're wondering how easy this thing is to pull around or pull through terrain, I'm fixing to show you. All right, guys. Well, I've got the floor jack right here in front of me, and I'm fixing to run it off the concrete and into the stone right here, and then off one of these pavers, so you guys can see just how easy it is to roll. So I'm just gonna get it turned around, and then you can see that I'm just gonna do it with pinching my fingers together to show you how easy that it pulls. It's that simple. It really does pull that good. And, you know, since it's only 50 something pounds, and the big tires, it's like nothing trying to pull it. So if you can see, it goes through that rock like it's nothing. It really is a beast. Now, you try to do that with this Harbor Freight jack, and immediately you can tell it's heavy as hell. So first thing that's going to happen, and let me try to be fair about it. I'm going to be fair about it and straighten it up and try to pull it like I did the Pro Eagle. Pull it straight across. But just to show you. Yeah, you can get across through here. But big difference. It's a pain in the butt, I can tell you right now. And you sure as hell wouldn't want to drag this thing across the yard. I'm having to pick it up because it won't drag through the stone. It will not drag through the stone. And as you can see, I pulled stone all the way through, and it's stuck. See what I'm talking about? Let me pull it up. All those stones get stuck in the bottom of it. And so imagine if you're trying to work on a vehicle off-road, you're going to be dealing with the same crap with mud, sand, rocks, you know, any kind of nasty situation you might run into, where the tree roots or whatever. Keep this in mind. All right. Now, as far as being able to lift, let's see how many pumps that it takes to get all the way to the top. So I've got it all the way let down, and you can see that I've got it turned all the way to the left to release all the pressure. Now I'm going to turn it all the way to the right, and it's as far down as it can go. So I'm going to go all the way from the top to the bottom. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, That's as many pumps as it'll let me do. It won't go any higher than that. So that's nine pumps, full pumps. Anyways, now you get an idea of how many pumps that it'll take to get to its full height. So and keep in mind, if you have the extension on there, then it's not going to take you nearly as many pumps. You're already there with most of the way with the extension on there. And like I said, they do have the it comes with the 8-inch, but they do offer a 15-inch extension. So it just depends on how high you're lifted up off the ground. All right, so I'm gonna wrap the video up. I appreciate you guys watching, and you know, you guys are just like me. You know, I wasn't paid to say any of this kind of stuff. I just thought, hey, let's do a review on it. It looks like a nice heavy-duty jack, and hopefully it'll last me for years to come. But I do have to say that you know, it being really light and those big wheels, it sure makes it a hell of a lot easier to get around. And since you got that extension on board, if you've got a lifted vehicle, you definitely got to get one of these jacks. And if you don't have a lifted vehicle, you still need one of these jacks, just because it makes it so much better to try to roll around. And you know, half the time I use my floor jack to lift up the back of my lawnmower to be able to work on it. So you know, most of you guys are just like me, and you're always, you know, tinkering on stuff, and you know, a good floor jack always comes in handy. So like I said, I appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and if there's a product that you would like to see me do a video review on, please put it in the comments down below. If you like this video, hated this video, you think I'm crazy, or whatever, you can put that in there as well. I'll try to respond to everybody's comments, and I'll laugh and cut up with you guys all the time. So now, if you guys do own a GM truck, then 2014 to 2018 GM truck, make sure you join my Facebook group. I'll put a link in the description down below. And if you guys are into hot rods or big trucks or just whatever, join my other Facebook group called Rod Run. So I'll put it in the description down below as well. So thanks a lot. Have a good one.